Hey, up next on the Marmy Rock Show, glad to have a good friend of the show back. We've got Chris Lane of Station back. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on we're about to talk about. So, Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Man, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And, I added your new song this week, All You Need Is a Heartbeat, to our Golden Dozen. So I thought, let's get you back on the show. So let's get right into it. I want to talk first about the music video that you guys just put out. So tell us a little bit about the music video.
We made the video a couple weeks ago, and basically we released a song before releasing a video, which is the first time we've ever done that. And it's cool because, every time you release something new, you reach different types of people. So it seems that when you release just regular music and not a video attached to it, people who are more, let's just say, interested in hearing something that's brand new will go first. And then you send the video, and then people who just want to see the song kind of performed in front of you will go for it. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But I like the video. It's it's really simple, but it's kind of fun. It's happy. The song is happy. I like the color contrast. That's like a big thing for me.
So who is your director? You've done a lot of videos in the past. Did you use the same director or somebody new?
No. We started working with this guy named Igor Katrick. Really, really, really cool. He's really good at doing kind of like post effects, and so we're going to be working with him on another video actually very shortly. And when we first started having a conversation, because that kind of came up in the sense of the editing and stuff like that, we decided to make a video that was very editing centric and not because like it's filmed all on a white screen. It's not even like there's one location we filmed it in an ice rink. You know what I mean? So it's a very simple video to make.
So that being said, how long did it take you guys, like from start to finish? Was it one day deal, or was that how long did it take?
No, I mean it probably took about 8 hours to film. The problem is that you've got 4.5 minutes of music to work with, so you want to try to get as many expressions as possible, as many little things as possible, and as you're kind of jumping around acting like an idiot on a giant white screen with everybody looking at you, you forget to do one thing. So you got to go back and do the whole song again just to try to get a good, kind of like flow in it. So that's what actually takes the longest. The other side of it is because of the kind of video it is, the lighting is incredibly important, because you'll notice that the shadows in the video are very controlled. And because of that, the lights seem to be like dead on all the time. And that is honestly one of the hottest I've ever been in my life, having all those lights on you. It was like torture at a point. You can't drink water because the more you drink, the more you sweat. So it was a rough one. See,
those are things I would never think of, is that you can't drink water and you can't sweat. The glamorous life of the musician continues.
It's just, you have to kind of like approach it from a completely different angle than you would like a live show, because like for me in my head, every time we do any kind of video kind of thing, I'm always like, yeah, we're going to walk in, we're going to perform, we're going to play, we're going to look happy. There's so much more to looking happy and looking good on video than there is on stage. So you need someone to kind of guide you through it to make sure that you don't sweat profusely under 30,000 lights.
That's a great insight behind the scenes. Now, I love the song. Tell us a little bit more about the song. How long has that thing been floating around? I mean, I know it came out as a single, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, but how long has that thing been around? And tell me about the writing of it.
So I wrote that song just after we made the video for Everything years ago. It's been around for 3.5 years, maybe.
Wow.
No, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be almost 5 years. So basically, what the song is about is it's about us filming the Everything video.
Oh wow!
And when we filmed it, it was right during Hurricane Sandy. And basically, what happened was that we had all these plans to make not an elaborate video, but a more in-depth kind of video than what actually happened. And because the hurricane hit and it caused a ton of problems on the East Coast, and including a gas shortage, which had to change our venues and stuff like that, we ended up taking only one person who was going to be in the video and driving her up to the Chance in Poughkeepsie. And we filmed the whole video in one day. And, the video is fine, but it's kind of a hodgepodge of last minute, we should do that. Because we literally had no planning, because we had to do everything on the fly. So, if you look at the lyrics, and it's kind of like stereo instructions in terms of how that day went, just because it's literally just about us figuring out how to make this video.
Wow, that's a cool story behind it. And all our friends in the New York bands, man, still the impact of that hurricane still lingers around for some of you guys in a lot of
Oh
ways.
yeah.
Hey, sadly, I was late to your set for at M3. I didn't get to see you play at M3, but I caught up with you later in the day. But tell us a little bit about the M3 experience. That was a good festival for you guys as far as exposure.
It was great. I mean, I will say everyone on the ground at M3 was really great to us. It was a very, very much pleasure being there. Beautiful, beautiful venue. I've never been to a venue with a backstage pool before, so that was a new one. It was, we were really, really, really busy that day because, as a band that doesn't have the name that a lot of the other bands that are playing because we're newer, we have to take advantage of just everything. So it's not, I wish I could say like, oh, it's so cool backstage and it's fun, but honestly, I was backstage for like 30 seconds. Between running, talking to different kind of press outlets, we're very, very fortunate that people usually want to hang out with us at the merch tent and the merch booth. So, we were there for 2.5 hours signing stuff, and then we have to run back. And, it's a good thing. It's one of those things where it's like, I can't really fully take advantage of and appreciate how many great amenities the show has for us because we're so busy.
Now, I've always wondered this about you guys. You guys are basically really almost like a generation younger than some of the other performers at M3, but yet your music jives so well and fits so well with them. What kind of reactions have you gotten from some of the, the bands that were at their top of their game in the late 80s, say?
Well, we've played with a lot of them, both on festivals and off. And I think that there's just this very kind of like, yeah, you play rock music, yeah, we play rock music kind of thing. But it's just the difference is we both lean on the same side of the spectrum. See, because one of the things that we've kind of seen is that, we've done shows with like Lynch Mob and Autograph and Bret Michaels and stuff like that. And of course our music goes really well with it because, we've got that kind of melodic, kind of 80s, early 90s kind of vibe about us. But at the same time, we've done shows with like Theory of a Dead Man. And they're some of the nicest people and fits perfectly. So it's really not I don't think it's really necessarily like an 80s kind of fitting. It's just, if you lean on the side of the poppier side of rock and roll, we usually can show up and play with them. That's what's actually given us such a tremendous opportunity on the road, is because a lot of times when bands are going on the road looking for bands to open for or to play with or anything like that, you're kind of limited by genre. For us, it's pretty open because as long as you play stuff that people want to sing along with, we can kind of jump on stage.
So speaking of that, man, I've noticed like your touring circle seems to be like an ever-widening geographic circle. I mean, you guys have played all over the U.S., don't get me wrong, but I'm noticing now more shows in North Carolina, more shows, further away. Talk about the expansion a little bit.
Well, it's been really amazing to see that we've built these kind of followings and markets that allow us to return. And the other cool thing about it is that it allows us to return when we want. So one of the things, we do everything ourselves. So like, it's kind of a learning curve always. And something that we've really learned about is the difference between promoting, going on tour, and actually playing within a touring cycle. And, we released our album in, 2015. So it's 2 years ago. We've gone back to the same market, not counting New York because obviously we're from here, but like we've gone back to Peoria, Illinois 4 times since then. And every time it makes sense to go back, which is insane because eventually people need to hear something new or buy something different, but that hasn't happened yet. So what we've kind of learned is that we can go out and we can play to certain markets and be like, guys, we're just coming back. Do you want to have a fun evening? Certain markets we have to go back with something new and be like, here's the reason to come out. And then certain markets, all we really need to do is show up and be like, oh yeah, there's music and we like these guys. So, as we do this more and more and more and more, we can find ourselves pushing farther west. Next year is going to be an example. Like this year, we're going to play eventually only, I think, half the shows that we did last year. Last year we did over 90 dates. And this year I think we're going to cap it around 40-something. Next year, though, when we release our new album, I can't even guess how many dates we're going to do because, I could see us on the road for months. And that's cool because it kind of puts us on a schedule to then be like, okay, we're going to do the months of touring, and then when we come home, we can release another album and, rinse and repeat. And that's basically how you kind of like get into the groove of moving music.
So you mentioned now you just kind of threw it in there, but so a new album next year, we think, because that was one of the things I was going to ask you. Do we expect a couple more singles to come out or an EP, or are you looking at a full-length record, do you think?
Well, there'll be a full-length record in the early part of next year, as of right now. And the only reason that will change is for good reasons, put it that way. So if it doesn't come out in the early part of next year, it's because someone else is not releasing it at the early part of next year, which would be a very good thing. The plan, though, for the rest of the year is that we have a bunch of singles coming out periodically that will just be new music to everybody. And, those songs may or may not be on the album. So right now, because we've kind of come off this, 2 years worth of just traveling and playing, and, they've been really good to us, we have the ability to just start pushing music. And the chief focus of the band always is new music. And, that's the thing we love doing. And now that we're at the point where we have the opportunity to put it in front of people, we're going to release as much music as humanly possible.
Well, we're backing you guys 100%, man. We've been fans of you all since the first time we saw you, and I don't even remember when that was. It might have been the M pre-party. I'm not sure, but it's going back a ways now.
Dave Dillman brings people together.
Yeah, he sure does, and that's a great little thing he does down there. And I saw you guys played down there again, so good for you all, man. Well, hey, man, the new single is All You Need Is a Heartbeat. The band, we love them. The band is stationed from New York City. You can watch the video now. You can buy the tune on iTunes. And, of course, you can go see them live. In fact, I see you got a show August 24th up there in your hometown at the Gramercy Theater. So folks can go out and check that out. So
that's going to be a big one.
Well, Chris, man, thanks for being here on the show. You're always welcome as a guest, and you're always so accessible to us. We really appreciate it, man. Thanks for being back.
Of course, always, man.